What's up, guys? This is Lamar and LJ, and this is What the Hell Are You Talking About? Today, we're going to talk about our top 10 point guards of our lifetime. We're going to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers, and we're going to talk about the Kyrie Irving trade. But first, let's say congratulations to the NCAA champions of men and women, Villanova and Notre Dame. They did their thing, and that concludes our NCAA talk. So, all right, now we'll start out with we'll start with this. We'll start with a little baseball. Why exactly do they have so many parks and they're all different sizes? Like, there's, I don't understand how they could be so important, how their records could be so important, but their parks are so different.
Well, to be honest, I think that it's just like a relic of a past generation. It shouldn't be. How can you hold any record if all the parks are different? It
Right.
doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid. Some parks are hitters parks, some parks are pitchers parks. So it all depends on where you play as to what your stats are going to be going forward. Like whether you get in the Hall of Fame. Okay, this pitcher pitched in Yankee Stadium, which is a hitter's park, so he has way more home runs against him than some guy who pitched in a pitcher's park, which may be Shea Stadium. So it doesn't make much sense. And it also impacts free agency. So if
Yeah,
I'm if
definitely.
I'm a hitter, why would I go to some place where I got to play home in a pitcher stadium? That's going to affect my bottom line.
Right. Now it's like if an NBA arena had the double rims where it's like you can't like as if you're not shooting all net, like some people just don't touch the net. Like there's some guys that just shoot so good they don't touch the net. But then there's some guys that have touch on their shots that it will bounce and it'll bounce in. But if you got double rims at this arena, you're not gonna get as many bounces. You know what I mean? It's like it just affects the game in different ways. So I don't understand how you could have that. You know what I mean? Doesn't make sense. Or if you just got, or in football, if you just got like a a killer defense and this stadium is just constantly muddy, or you know what I mean, it just changes the dynamics of everything, where it's like, oh well, this stadium's always muddy every week. So I can say if it was just random because of the weather, but if it was like this is muddy Cleveland or this is fair grass San
Right.
Francisco, you know what I mean, it just wouldn't, it's now pretty much everybody uses turf anyway now, football. So like it's just like, yeah, I don't understand how they can do it, but like they're so hell bent on this record means this and that record means that, but it's like your records mean nothing, especially now with the steroid era messing everything up. Now nobody now nobody cares about records as much because of that era. So oh well, like that's so much for your national pastime.
Right. It's kind of like if the NFL were to like move the field goal post back 10 feet for some teams, but leave them in the same spot for others, or
Right,
raise them up 5 feet for some and put them
right,
down for others, or
right,
the 3 point line is 5 foot 5 feet back in
right.
some arenas. They don't have a 3 point line in other arenas.
Right, or like this is a field goaler stadium.
Yeah, that wouldn't make any sense. But that's a relic of an old generation, and the reason they don't want to change it is because they say it gives baseball character, and
Yeah,
it makes it more exciting. Like, well, you've had this experience for the past 100 and some odd years, and baseball's still the same.
right.
It's not changed.
Yeah, nobody.
So
It's not getting any more popular. It's getting less popular actually. So, well, I mean, and it's one of the, like we talked about before. It's a regional sport, and if you don't like me, I will watch the Yankees, but I don't watch any other team. I don't watch Red Sox. I don't watch the Astros. I don't watch any. I don't watch the Cubs. None of those other good teams. I don't care about them. I don't care about the Yankees. I care about what the Yankees do. Like that's not the same case in football, basketball, where I can watch pretty much any team. You know what I mean? So It's just different, and baseball is probably gonna always be like the same as hockey. It's gonna be always be like that. But
Yeah, football is an experience. Like, um, well, maybe not for me in the past, like I say, 2 years or so, but like you would just, especially if you're a diehard fan of a team, you couldn't wait for football to start. You have butterflies, especially if your team is good.
right, yeah,
And later on in the season, and you have a tough game coming up, you have butterflies in your stomach. When's the last time we had butterflies in our stomach for any other sport besides football?
right.
Like it's been well for us being Knicks fans,
Yeah, we haven't had that
in a
feeling
long
since
time.
like the '90s.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say like we had that feeling in the 2013 season when we won 52 games.
No.
We I mean I pretty much knew that we were going to lose. Well, I didn't know we were going to lose Indy, but it was.
But we knew we weren't going anywhere. Either way, we knew we weren't going to get
Yeah.
really far.
Yeah, we knew we weren't going to win a championship. With football, the stakes are higher, so anybody can win in any given week. Like the best team may not win that one game.
Right,
The best team that week will win that one game,
right,
and that's what makes it more of an unpredictable sport.
Right.
You can have Cinderella teams. Like for NBA basketball, you're not going to have a Cinderella team. It's just not going to happen.
right.
You're, you're never like it. The one thing the NBA does have up their sleeve, which they'll never do. But if it comes to desperate times, NBA could always do the tournament style basketball and for the playoffs for like a one win, but that would be like terrible.
I would hate to see that. Don't ever do that.
That would be terrible. But if their ratings slide or they have somebody who's willing to be daring, it will all come down to one game, and that would just be like, oh, come on now. You had 82 games to come down to one. That
would not be right. See that's another problem I have with baseball. By the way, like they got this one game playoff. I don't like it. They say it's more exciting. I don't like that. Like I would hate for the Yankees to have the better record to be the last team in, and then turns out there's a fifth team that had a record less than them, but they got to play in to get it. They got to do a one game playoff to get in. I didn't like that. Like I would hate that. Now I think you should do that I think they should do it how they used to do it. Yeah, if you're tied, then yeah, you play a one game playoff. But I don't like that. If you're a wild card, you're a wild card. Don't do that playing game. I don't like that. After playing 162 games, your whole season comes down to just one game. You know what I mean? Like I don't like that at all.
Yeah, that's not fair to the players. Not fair to the fans. Your season should come down to more than just one game.
Right.
Another thing that kind of bothers me about baseball is the retaliation factor when it comes to guys who celebrate home runs. Pitcher on that team will try to headhunt one of the not even the guy who's celebrating, just another guy from that team, and it doesn't even have to be that guy,
right? Or it could be like 20 to 50 games later, and next time they play him, the first guy gets it. Right? Yeah, that's happened too. Yeah, yeah.
So that is ridiculous, and that's forcing that sport to be kind of bush league. Like you don't do stuff like that. I mean, like kids do stuff like that when they're angry.
Right.
The only thing you're supposed to do is strike the guy out.
Right.
The guy won't be celebrating if
and then you get your chance to celebrate when you strike him out, or even if you don't strike him out, if you just get him out, ground him out, whatever, you can celebrate right back, make them feel stupid or whatever. But there's no reason to feel stupid anyway. You're a grown ass man. Just grow up. Strike the guy out or whatever. If he's better than you, he hits a home run, fine. Whatever. You don't have to acknowledge it at all. It's a baseball game. Just move on. If he wants to celebrate, let him celebrate. That's who he is. Why does he have to curb who he is because you're going to get your feelings hurt? It doesn't make sense. But
now there are exceptions to that. What if a guy is like overly celebrating and he's like moonwalking to the first base? then I could completely understand a baseball player. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna get that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like just throw the ball completely at that guy's head when he's on first base. It's like that's for you.
Why he's on first
That's for
base?
you. That's for you, asshole.
Yeah, if somebody goes overboard, then it's like, all right, you could take exception to really, really excessiveness. Like, then that goes for any sport. If somebody just really goes overboard with it, then whatever. I'm not gonna defend that guy. But yeah, if you're just celebrating a little bit, stare at a home run a little longer than you should, who gives a shit? Like, just move on. But
dropping the bat, that's stupid pettiness.
Yeah.
If he starts doing the what's those dudes who what's those dudes who would be in the internet? It would be like, come on, man, what did you do? If you start like playing around and jumping around with the bat like that, I'm like, all right.
Like, yeah, then it's like, yo, somebody, if y'all don't do it, I will. Yeah, sometimes it'll get a little carried away. But let's move on to something else. All right, we got Philly beat Cleveland the other day. It was up by damn near 30. Cleveland came back, but Philly was able to hold on. Now Philly won 13 straight games. Like, now, but they were beating up on a lot of bad teams throughout this stretch. But now they beat a team like Cleveland. Opened your eyes a little bit, and they were like dominating them. So, does this look really good on Philly, or does it look more bad on Cleveland?
Well, I think that LeBron can't do it forever. He just can't. He's playing his best basketball. I'm not sure if it looks bad on Cleveland because it's not the playoffs. These guys have they got a head of steam. So when I say head of steam, I'm talking about Philly. They got a head of steam right now, so they're going full speed ahead. And LeBron, those performance-enhancing drugs aren't really working anymore. So
Easy. Don't get us sued. Like, we're not even making money off of this. Don't get. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Okay. All right. Allegedly. Well, that would be so devastating if he was, though. But like, as far as Philly,
I think it'd be
funny. if Philly can play, like, now with Boston being injured with the injuries they got, Philly just might be able to make it if they can avoid Cleveland, because right now Cleveland's fourth now because if Philly beat them. Philly's third and Cleveland's fourth now, so Philly can avoid Cleveland and Toronto until the Eastern Conference Finals now.
Wouldn't it be funny? If Philly, if like all the stars just aligned, Kyrie's out, they beat Boston, Toronto's not really that good, they beat Toronto, and all of a sudden, Cleveland didn't get their act together, and they go to a championship and they win. Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that just be something?
It would be impossible, I would think.
I would think it would be impossible.
They could make it. They could get lucky because Cleveland doesn't look great this year, and I expect Cleveland to totally beat them come playoff time. But I think if they were to win the whole thing, that would be hard to beat a Houston or a Golden State. Like, that would be asking for a lot. Now, I could see them possibly beating a Cleveland team that hasn't really gotten it together, and I could see them beating Toronto because nobody believes in Toronto. I don't think they could beat either team personally in the playoffs, but you never know. Like, they got two stars. Joel Embiid will be back. They got two really good players, and their role players are coming around. Like, they got some pretty good role players, so they definitely look like a team. Now, we'll see what happens. I don't think they're going to get any further than that. But as far as LeBron, let's move on to where you think he's going to end up next season.
LeBron, this is hard. You had mentioned before that L.A., that's an option for him.
Mm-hmm.
I also heard Houston, but they don't have the money for him.
No.
And he doesn't play Houston ball. Like, he passes, but he just can't shoot. That's... and would he play off the ball?
I was going to say, hey, he might have to take James Harden's role, and James Harden might have to play off the ball, which would make more sense because James Harden can shoot like crazy. Like I mean, they could do the same thing they're doing now. They would just have 3 people doing it instead of 2. I think it could work, but I mean, just financially it wouldn't. They would have to strip down everything else they have. They'd have to trade Capella, Ariza, and Eric Gordon just to
I'll
make
take
that
Capella.
happen. Oh yeah, absolutely. But we don't have LeBron, so we can't trade LeBron for Capella. But yeah, they don't like. They would have to trade those 3 good players just to make room for LeBron, because those are the other 3 players that are making decent money on their roster. So but in terms of like philosophy fit, I think D'Antoni could definitely make that work.
D'Antoni
But
can make that work if LeBron was a point guard.
well, yeah, I mean, I mean, they could do a lot. They could do so many things with it. Like LeBron could play more of a big man role in it if he had to. He could play. They could switch it up. I mean, just put him more power
Does he feel
forward.
comfortable? Does he feel comfortable doing that? He said. I
Uh,
remember a few years ago he said he's not ready to play the power forward yet.
I think under D'Antoni's offense, he wouldn't mind doing it. I think because that's a fun offense to play for anybody. So if you and it's funny because LeBron's offense isn't as fun for everybody. Like it's not that fun for the third person, like how Kevin Love and Chris Paul. Kevin Love is fine now because Kevin Love is the second option. But as far as D'Antoni's offense, I don't think there's a player that wouldn't be able to fit in his offense. Like, well, I can't say that because Carmelo didn't fit.
I was just about to give you,
But if he was willing to play off the ball, it would have
which he
worked.
could have.
Right.
The thing is, if you look at this looking at going back, if Carmelo, he just wanted to have the ball in his hands at all times, which was stupid.
Yeah.
Because you're not a point guard. You know what I'm saying? The ball should, like, if you were willing to play off the ball, you could have averaged 29 points a game easily.
Right.
You know, like, but he played that ISO ball, and it was stupid. You know,
Yeah.
like, it's just dumb. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, you're not Michael Jordan, you're not Kobe Bryant, you're not playing the triangle. When you did play the triangle, you sucked in it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, so at the end of the day, it wasn't about just, Carmelo's game, because he's a great scorer.
Yeah.
But, like, he just doesn't have a lot of basketball IQ.
Right.
Like, he just doesn't have it.
Yeah. He
So,
doesn't.
and he's not a leader. He shouldn't be the best player on the team. He should be the best scorer on the team, and that's it.
Yeah. But nowadays, he's very like being the third option in OKC. Sometimes he looks like he's done. But last night, I don't know how many points he ended up with, but he looked really good. So we might as well move on to that topic. OKC beat Houston last night. OKC was a half a game ahead of the ninth seed Nuggets. And they got to play, going into last night, they got to play Houston, Miami, and Memphis. So Memphis isn't a problem, but they had to play, 2 playoff teams, and they haven't been playing that well, especially down the stretch of games. Like, they're missing free throws. Then Westbrook's just taking terrible shots. So they've been playing bad for the past few weeks. But last night, they were in Houston, and like you're thinking like Houston's probably going to beat them, but they went in there and won the game. So it's like, all right, and they needed that. So if they win at least 2 out of these 3, they should be fine, and they should be able to at least win the last one against Memphis. Like if they don't win that one, then they don't deserve to be in the playoffs. Memphis is one of the worst teams in the league this year. But Miami, I can see Miami beating them. But if they just showed up against Houston, they probably feeling good about themselves, or they're due for a letdown. This team is so inconsistent; they're probably due for a letdown. So, but they're probably just by beating Houston might be enough to get them in, because that was the big one. That was the one that that if they didn't win that one, then there would have been a lot more pressure on them. So, going forward, like they'll have to play. They're going to be either the 7th or the 8th seed. And by the way, they could either end up out of the playoffs, or they could be the 4th seed in the West. That's how tight that race is. Like
That's crazy.
yeah, because everybody from Portland all the way down to Denver is separated by like a game or 2, and it's only about 2 or 3 games left. So we'll see how that plays out. How do you think they'll do in the playoffs?
Who Oklahoma
Okay,
City or
City,
Houston?
yeah. Okay, City.
Oklahoma City is a one and done. They're not going to win. They'll win a game or two, but they're going to be out in the first round because you know I just don't have any faith in Russell Westbrook leading any team because he's so inefficient. His numbers are fool's gold. He's very athletic. I'll give him that, but he needs to not be the first option on the team. He just doesn't need to be. And just imagine if OKC would have kept Harden and this guy and Durant. Yeah, and Durant. Like they would. It wouldn't be. It'd be between Golden State and them. But I'm not sure if Golden State would be able to beat them.
Right.
That would be a clash right there.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Like that'd be amazing rivalry every year in the Western Conference Finals.
I wouldn't know who would be the coach because I wouldn't trust. I would give
Billy
that team. I would give that team to D'Antoni. Even though I'm not much of a D'Antoni fan for what he did with the Knicks, but I would give that team to D'Antoni, and I would let him work his magic. Same thing he's doing with Harden, and Russell Westbrook. You're going to play off the ball, because you don't know how to share.
Right. You don't know how to share, so go in the corner and wait for the ball to come to you.
Yeah. You only like your stats. So if you only like your stats, then have your little stat, but they're gonna put you in the quote unquote point guard position. But James Harden's going to be the point guard because he knows how to play the point guard position much better than you.
He knows how to get everybody involved in the right way.
Right.
Westbrook can get assists. Right. Westbrook gets assists, but he doesn't necessarily get everybody involved the right way. He'll give it to you if he definitely don't got it. He'll be like, all right, well, here, you take it now because I don't have the shot. Whereas Harden, as soon as he sees somebody come off, he's passing it. Or as soon as he sees he got one-on-one, he'll score. Like, Westbrook waits till he gets all the way in traffic and realize he ain't got it, and then he's like, "Oh, I better throw this out now." You know what I mean? And it's just too much with Westbrook. Like he's just he don't his body language even his you just look at him on the court and he don't look like he's encouraging anyone as the best
he's
player.
Not. He's just yelling at them. You know what I'm saying? Like he's yelling at them. He's screaming. He's not a leader.
Right.
But But he thinks he is. You know what I'm saying? There's not. But to be honest with you, I'm not just gonna put this on Westbrook because there's not a lot of leaders out there anyway.
That's true.
But if you look at the NBA going around, who can you say is a true leader? You know what I'm saying? Chris Paul is a leader.
LeBron, Chris Paul.
LeBron's a leader. You know what I'm saying?
Most of the leaders aren't the best player anymore. Like it'll be a guy like even Golden State, like Draymond Green is probably their leader. Like I still give Kerr, I still give Kerr some leadership qualities, but Draymond Green's the one that's gonna let you know that you're not doing well, or let you know that what you got to do.
He just has a big mouth.
He does, but I give him a lot of leadership quality. They can't. He's another one. They can't win without him. By the way, like if everybody was healthy and Draymond Green wasn't, they would struggle. Like they would have a problem because he's their tough guy. He's their best defensive player. He's a lot of things for that team. So I give him a lot of credit for his leadership and for the fact that he plugs a lot of holes for them on defense and rebounding. It's a lot that he does. So he annoys me, but I'll take him on my team any day. Like we could use a guy like him. But
well, he seems like a Nick. So I wouldn't lie.
Yeah, he kind of got at least like a '90s Nick anyway. Like,
yeah, he's an Anthony Mason.
Yeah, he's a '90s Nick for sure. Like,
but the guy I really wanted was Kevin Durant. He would fit in so well with this team. It's ridiculous. If we need like a young Kevin Durant.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like he would just like we need a young Kevin Durant. And when I say we, just pointing out to the audience, I'm using the royal we. We're both Knick fans,
right? So if you didn't see last episode, when we explained it, we're re-explaining it.
Right. We when we say Knicks, we say we.
Right.
So, and we're going to do a lot of Knicks talks. If you don't like it, there are plenty of podcasts out there.
No,
But
still watch and still listen.
though. Still watch and still listen. Because
Forget about those other podcasts.
Because your team might be coming up, and we may discuss your
We'll
team.
definitely talk about your team, Sacramento Kings.
Sacramento.
No, I'm just there's probably never going to be a Sacramento Kings talk anytime in the next 10 years. So if you're a Sacramento Kings fan, then we don't got nothing for you right now. But it was something else I wanted to say about OKC. I can't remember. I know I did want to mention the fact that we talk about Harden, Westbrook, and Durant. All three of those guys are gonna have an MVP after this season. All three will have one MVP. Just think about how well they drafted and how well that organization is at times. But they would have kept all three of them.
You had to have sucked for a while.
Yeah,
to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm hoping that the Knicks don't do that. But that team.
We've already sucked for a while. We've already done that.
Well, we've given away draft picks, so
yeah, we're not doing that anymore, right?
I hope not. But
well, we haven't been. I mean, since Phil Jackson and now this guy, we haven't been giving away first round picks. Now we didn't have one.
A lot of teams have been asking for some.
Yeah, but we haven't given them up. So I'm gonna give them credit for that. They definitely should just rebuild. Unless, like I said, unless you can get somebody really good. I'm not gonna name Kawhi Leonard because I already know how you feel about that. But he doesn't want Kawhi Leonard because of all of the situations going on with him and the Spurs. I'll still take him. I think this is just one incident. I mean, there's multiple things surrounding this one incident, but this is the first time they had any trouble with Kawhi. So I'm like, I'm all in on getting Kawhi Leonard. They should make that phone call for sure.
I think that we should just build through the draft. I think that there's not going to be a quick fix when you get Kawhi. I don't think we're going to get him. I think we're going to pay a hefty toll for him. And as soon as we get to the clear where we're building up, we got our guy. And I still like Tim Hardaway. A lot of people on Facebook, social media, and some of the groups I'm in, they really shit on Tim Hardaway Jr. and they really shit on Frank Ntilikina. I've never seen a rookie go through this before on any level. Especially a rookie coming from another country. I've never seen this before. He's a 19-year-old rookie from France, and he was our first-round pick, Frank Ntilikina. He's not really doing much this season. He's playing really good defense. His offense needs to come in there, but the type of player he's going to be, I think, is going to be a defensive-minded pass-first player, and I'm fine with that. He gets a lot of comparisons to Dennis Smith, who's playing really well out there in Dallas. He's not really that efficient, but he's a rookie, and he's been in this system. I mean, he's not been in the system. He's been in this country. He's pretty much given the green light to shoot and do whatever he wants because, they don't really have a lot of assets out there, besides Harrison Barnes. Dirk Nowitzki's old at this point. He should have retired last season, to be honest with you.
Well, I think he's waiting for his contract. He wants to play out his contract. And by the way, he just got hurt. He's out for the season, so that's probably it for him.
Well, this is his 20th season.
Yeah, I think this is it.
Yeah, this should be it.
His contract is up, and he did say he wanted to get to 20, so he did that. And I think we already seen the last of him. Like I said, last week he got injured, so he's done.
Yeah, I've always liked Dirk. As far as power forwards of all time go, it's funny because we discussed shooting guards of all time, but now we're going to go to power forwards of all time.
Yeah, we're doing shooting guards today, so we'll save this Dirk talk for another time.
Yeah, we'll save it for another
Let's not
time.
go off on a tangent.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to do your top 10 shooting guards of our lifetime, we both are 37, going on 38 years old. So these are shooting guards that we have seen play in
Right.
our lifetime. So you're not going to get an Oscar Robertson. You're not going to get Clyde Frazier. You're not going to get some of the guys that like Earl of Pearl Monroe. We didn't see those guys play.
Right. So don't get angry when you're like, well, where is this guy? But we're gonna get to that. That's gonna be at the end. Right now, we'll move on to the Kyrie being out for the season, and we all know he's been injury prone since his college season at Duke, and when LeBron got to Cleveland, he played most of the regular seasons there, but he did get hurt in the finals, the first year they got in the finals. But for the most part, before LeBron, and now that LeBron is, he left LeBron, he gets hurt quite a bit. Like like he's got screws in his knee. They had to take the screws out because they got infected. This is the recent one. They had to take the screws out and redo it. They got infected, and they're saying structurally his knee is fine, but they had to clean up the infection. I'm like, that doesn't sound fine to me, but I'm not a doctor. But that leads me to the question of going into that trade with him against him and Isaiah Thomas and all that. They were saying that Boston clearly won the trade, and I was like, at the time I was like, no, not clearly, because they got a first round pick. They got Isaiah Thomas, who led the league, he did lead the league in scoring, didn't he? Or almost led the league in scoring last
He
year.
almost did.
And then I got Jay Crowder, who's a nice player. He's a nice role player, but then they traded pretty much everybody except in that trade, except they still got the first round pick. So then led me to believe, I was okay. Well, I guess maybe Boston did win that trade. I mean, besides, Kyrie Irving is the best player in that trade. Usually, whoever gets the best player in a trade, usually they say wins the trade. I just wasn't so sure about that, because if you're playing with LeBron and you give LeBron pieces around him, more pieces, then I figured that Cleveland might be better off. But the chemistry wasn't right, so they got rid of those guys, but they kept the first round pick. And now, Kyrie being out for the season, now that begs the question, looking back now, as of this point, who do you think won the trade?
It's hard to say. I think Cleveland won the trade because they have a top 10 pick at this point. So, if you have a top 10 pick and you have the best player in the league, a potential top 10 pick. Now, what if this pick turned out to be number one?
Yeah.
Then, then they definitely won. But I think if you get a top 10 pick, you won the trade, especially due to the fact that Kyrie's hurt. And I hate to harken back to the Knicks, but how many times did they have rumors about we should get Kyrie, and Kyrie should come to New York, or Kristaps Porzingis is going to go to Boston and play with Kyrie? Kyrie's career is not going to last that much longer.
Yeah,
if you have screws in your knee, that's the first time I've heard that. Like, what do you think he's going to do? Kyrie Irving is never going to win a championship again.
Probably not. And if he does, that means he's going to be like on a bench on a good team, because it's going to be like it's going to be hard for him to ever be healthy. Like when you got screws in your knee, I don't see how you can have a long career that way. Like, and the way he plays, you twist and turn, you move. I don't see how he's going to be able to, how that's not going to be a problem somewhere else down the line again. Because this injury goes back to when he did get hurt in the finals that year. So this is from that injury, and that was 2 seasons ago now. And
it's around 2 seasons ago. Yeah.
And so it's like, what do you? I don't know. Like, so what's gonna happen? Maybe another year or two, they may have another issue with his knee. Or less than 2 years from now, they may have another issue with his knee. You know what I mean? I don't know. So yeah, I would probably have to say that Cleveland has now officially won that trade. Because, like you said, they have a first round pick now. Now Brooklyn was as the Brooklyn pick, and Brooklyn it wasn't terrible as we thought they would have been. So, I think based on record, I think it's like a eighth or seventh pick or something like that, which is still good. But it's a lottery, so it could be anywhere. But so yeah, I mean, but at the same time, they haven't had a good outside of LeBron and Kyrie. They haven't had a history of making good draft picks. So we'll see. So I guess there's still a debate that could be had like after the draft, or even a couple years from now. We'll see how Kyrie's career goes. So we'll never know in the near future. But as of right now, I would give Cleveland the edge right now.
Yeah, I agree. I feel bad for Kyrie.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's a dumbass who thinks the world is flat. So let's we can move on to another subject.
All right. I guess we could do. What else do we have?
Our top 10 shooting guards.
Okay, we'll do our top 10 shooting guards. All right. Well, you want to go first, cause
Okay. And in my lifetime, I started watching basketball around like 90, 91, 92. And I'd have to say the one who really stood out to me during that season was Latrell Sprewell for Golden State.
Okay.
He was in those landlord commercials, and he was just all over the league. I hate to put him in his top 10 of my top 10 because I mean, dude took the Knicks to the championship, but but he's just the first person that would come into my head when I say a top 10 of my lifetime. And that's kind of sad because, he's not a Hall of Famer.
No.
And he's not really notable, to be honest with you. He hasn't really done much besides, get the kids. I mean, he's like, you can go to a bar in Milwaukee and he's like, he's a bouncer. So, he definitely fucked up his chances, his money, and everything. For 9, are you going to go your top? Your
no, you're going to go ahead and do all your 10, and then I'll do all my 10.
All right, for 9, I'll have to say Richard Hamilton. Richard Hamilton is a good shooter, actually more than decent shooter. I've always liked his game, especially when he was running around the court and tiring people out and just shooting threes, and he won that championship. They wouldn't have got past. I forgot who they played. They wouldn't have got past Indy without him.
Right.
So I would say Richard Hamilton in my lifetime. Okay, if you want to go back in time. I'm trying to think about any of the shooting guards from the 80s.
You didn't write this stuff down?
No, I didn't write it down. I apologize. I didn't write it down. I just thought about it, and I usually am a little bit more prepared than this. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna mention this person. I'm gonna mention that person. But I didn't write it down, which I should have. Which is pretty stupid. But, okay.
Yeah, I would say so. All right, I'll tell you what. I'll do my top 10.
Okay.
And we will come back. See, the funny thing about what you're saying is I got mine on my phone, and I'm using my phone to record, but I pretty much got them all down here. I got all but one, but I know I had at number 10, I have Klay Thompson, right? So Klay Thompson, he's never been the best player on his team, but he is one of the best shooters of all time already in his career. And we all know he can absolutely light it up. He has the record for most points in a quarter, which was 40. And we all know he's like, great. Number 9, I have Mitch Richmond. Now he hasn't had a very accomplished career in terms of winning. He did win a championship. He did win a championship, but he was already like out of his prime, and he was a role player by then. But he averaged like 20 a game just about every season of his career. He was a monster.
Yeah,
He was just on a bad team. Like for a while, he was considered the second best shooting guard in the league while Jordan was there, but he just wasn't winning. He was with Golden State and Sacramento. He just wasn't with a lot of winning teams. So number 8, I gotta go with Reggie Miller. I think Reggie Miller didn't average as many points as these other two guys that I put ahead of him. That I put under him, but the I'll never forget a lot of the things that he's done. He's a great clutch shooter. He's terrorized the Knicks a lot of times, and
he was only clutch against us. The thing is about Reggie, he was only clutch.
No, that's not true. That's not true. He was clutch all the time. He just was extra clutch against us. Like, we just played him so many times that he was clutch against the Bulls, but they just weren't as good as the Bulls. They took the only team to take Jordan's Bulls to 7 games, and he had a big shot to bring them to Game 7. So he's definitely one of the most clutch players of all time. So and now he only had I think 4 seasons where he averaged over 20, but he was really clutch, and at the time he was the best 3-point shooter of all time until Ray Allen, which is next on my list, came along. So Ray Allen, we all know.
You were never big on Ray Allen.
Never
big on him.
No, I didn't say I wasn't big on him.
I'm talking about from. I've known you for a while. I remember when he was in his prime. I said I want Ray Allen before he went to the Seattle. So I've known you for a long time. He was in Milwaukee first. You didn't really see a big deal with him.
Because we had Allen Houston at the time.
I wasn't going to mention him. I wasn't going to mention Allen Houston because he was probably your next guy.
No, he's not. He's not on this
list. He's not on your top 10.
No.
Oh.
If he was, he would have probably been already named. He wouldn't be higher on this list. But Ray Allen is.
It's your list. You can do whatever you want.
Right. But I know this is my list, but I wouldn't put Allen Houston above these guys. I'm not crazy. Like, he's not better than these guys. He's just not. So I got Ray Allen, right? I got next on my list. I got Allen Iverson. Now people would debate if he's a point guard or a shooting guard. I always considered him a shooting guard, and is there anything else you can say?
Debatable.
It is because like you said, it's my list.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's debatable to put him in because I was thinking about Allen Iverson too, but today he'd just be another point guard. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, like today, in today's NBA,
right?
Allen Iverson thrived because he'd be one of the other point guards that they had. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't play off the ball. He would. I mean, like he came 10 years too early. To be honest with you, if he was drafted, say that Phoenix didn't have Steve Nash. If Allen Iverson was born 10 years later, he was drafted to Phoenix. You know how many championships they would have possibly went to? I'm not sure about winning.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many championships they would have possibly went to with him and Amari in his prime. I think that he passed the ball whenever. Like he passed the ball whenever. I'm not sure I'm not really sure that D'Antoni could have contained him. I'm not sure he would have listened. To be honest with you, like he's just an anomaly. I'm not sure he would have listened to He didn't listen to Larry Brown.
Yeah.
You think he listened to D'Antoni? D'Antoni would tell him he wanted.
Yeah, he probably would. He probably would have listened to too many people. He's definitely a handful. All right, so next on my list, this is what number 5. So
What's your real
I had
top
Ray Allen,
basketball?
Reggie Miller, Allen Iverson, Klay Thompson, and that's Mitch Richmond. So yeah,
I
that's
thought you wrote it
5.
down, asshole.
I did no, but I started deleting the names as I was doing it because I had them in different
Okay.
order. All right, so my next one, and I was going back and forth with this
Joe
is
Johnson.
is Clyde Drexler. Okay, so Clyde Drexler, he was also to most people considered second best to Michael Jordan. Early in Jordan's career in the '80s or whatever, and Clyde Drexler been to a finals. They did lose to MJ, and then he did win with the Rockets, and later in his career, and Clyde Drexler. I think it's kind of got lost in history. He's kind of, he kind of got lost in shooting guards because when I was sitting there thinking about who's on my list, I was like, well, I gotta go with. I started looking up. I was looking up other people's lists just so I could keep names in my head. I was, oh yeah, Clyde Drexler. I gotta put Clyde Drexler in here. So, yeah, Clyde Drexler is definitely in that top 5 of all time. I mean, I mean, when I even looked at his stats, I was like, man, I forgot how good he was. Like he was, he had a lot of, he was really up there. So, all right, so number 4, I'm gonna go. All right, this is another one I struggle with because I'm gonna go with James Harden on this. I'm gonna go with James Harden number 4 because he can do like offensively, like we all know he's not a good defensive player, but offensively he is way up there in like offensive talent, and now he can get everybody involved like a point guard, and he can draw fouls, and he's just a volume offensive scorer, and there's not too many people on this list who are as offensively talented as James Harden. And me and you had this back and forth thing about him and Wade, and I was with you on this argument all week, and then somewhere as the week went on, I kind of said, no, you know what? I can't. Wade is my number 3. I got to go with Wade at number 3 because of just how good of a defensive player he is, how good of a leader he is. And even though he's to me, I consider him a number 2 guy also. I just had a hard time putting James Harden over him. So Wade is my number 3. He's a 3-time champion, and and he's way better. He's a defensive player. He's the best shot blocking guard probably I've ever seen. He's just a good on ball defender, in his prime, and he's just a good all around player. But number 2, obviously, is Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is one of the top 10 players of all time. So he it's just like he's Kobe Bryant. Like he does everything. Like offensively, he does everything. He's a spitting image of Michael Jordan, talent wise. Like, and he's a better 3-point shooter than Jordan was, and he's a great defender, the second best defender on this list. he's the second best offensive player on this list. He's the second best a lot of things on this list. He's another volume scorer. Scored 81 points. There's not too
Is that
many
because you have the same last name?
There's not too many. There's not too many bad things you can say about Kobe Bryant. Like he's the man. And then number 1, obviously, we all know is Michael Jordan. I don't even have to waste much time on this. We all know his resume. If you don't know his resume, then go look it up because I'm not even gonna. Because I'm not even exactly. Because I'm not even. There's no even point of bringing that up. All right. So I guess it's back to you then.
Okay, so for 10 I had Latrell. For 9 I had Rip Hamilton. For 8 I'm gonna have to put Clyde Drexler there. Clyde Drexler, he was athletic. He knew exactly when to leave Portland and chase the championship. He didn't wait too long, so he got his ring. For Was it number 7? I'm gonna have to say Ray Allen. Ray Allen is one of the best shooters I've ever seen. The dude was a leader on the team when he played for Seattle, and he's very clutch. I go back to his college days when he played for UConn, and him and Allen Iverson going at it with when Allen Iverson played for Georgetown. I'm a Georgetown fan, so yeah, I have to put Ray Allen there. And what's that position? Number 6.
Yes, number 6.
Okay, number 5. I put Dwayne Wade.
No, that was. I'm
Because
sorry, that was number 6, I believe.
yeah, that was number 6. Okay, so number 5. I put Dwayne Wade.
Okay.
Dwayne Wade doesn't lead anybody. Dwayne Wade is a number 2 player. If he didn't have half the guys that he had, he wouldn't win anything. So he's a good defensive player. That's why I put him in the top 5 all time. So I know that caused me a lot of grief in some of these Facebook chat rooms, Facebook groups, but they're gonna have to kick rocks because Dwayne Wade is number
Sorry.
5. Number 4 all time. I have to put James Harden because I just think James Harden is just better than Dwayne Wade. He leads a team. That's the criteria I use. James Harden is a leader on that team. He doesn't have the championships because he never. Like I say, he never did, but he didn't. He didn't ride with somebody to a championship. He didn't have Shaq. He didn't have LeBron. Right now, he has Chris Paul. Uh, and if he would have won with Kevin Durant with KD, then if he would have stayed there, then it'd be a different story. But he's leading this team, and I've never seen anybody do 28 and 11 as a shooting guard, and then go back to playing that position and average 30 points and 9 assists. I've never seen that. He's as good offensively I've ever seen anybody play. He's number 4. Okay, number 3. Everyone's forgetting about T-Mac. I don't forget about T-Mac, even though he got hurt.
Timeout.
I know what you're gonna say.
I said T Mac on my list, but then I was like, but I don't know what I should have looked it up. I was like, is he more of a small forward or was he more of a shooting guard? I can't remember.
He was a shooting guard.
Okay.
He was a shooting guard for most of it. Well, he was a shooting guard for his best years.
Yeah.
Like even though he was hurt, even though he got hurt,
Mhm.
this dude, this dude would have been one of the top 3 players of all time if he would have stayed healthy. That rivalry between him and Kobe would have kept going. But this just happens to a lot of players. But in my lifetime, I haven't seen somebody play as good as T Mac. If T Mac would have, I can't put him above Kobe because he doesn't have he doesn't have 5 championships and and the MVP, an 81-point game. But when if T Mac would have had Grant Hill and and say he would have had Tim Duncan, or if he would have had just Tim Duncan, things would have turned out a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Okay, then you have Kobe, of course. That goes without saying because he's great defensively and great offensively.
Right.
He's a
Simply
volume
put.
shooter. Yeah, he's volume shooter. Not much of a teammate, but the thing
Yeah, that was
about,
definitely one of his flaws.
yeah, I'm not gonna put that. I'm not gonna hold that too much against him. But he was. He also. The thing about Kobe is he also can beat you anyway. He developed a low post game, and he played averaging 27 points a game when he was 35. So I thought that was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then you got Jeffrey Jordan as number 1. When you average 38 points a game I mean, when you got a guy who averaged 38 points a game, 37 points a game, 35 points a game, and would lead the league in steals just because someone said you couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like that, he's just the greatest. I hated playing against him. Well, I didn't play against him. I hated when the team played against him. So that's just it. You know, I know people are going to get a little butt hurt because I put Dwayne Wade at number 5 and I put James Harden over him. But you can direct the hate mail to Lemar, Lemar, and LJ at gmail.com. Also, you can put pretty much anything in the emails. I don't care. Or go to our Twitter site. I think that it is the same thing at Lemar and LJ.
Or actually, it's at WTHAYTA underscore
Yes.
podcast.
Yes, I made the Twitter, and, and that's what it was. Says, what the hell are you talking about? It's an acronym for what the hell are you talking about? It's a show. All right, so I think next time, we're gonna do power forwards because I'm really thinking power forwards now.
All right, we can do power fours next time. Maybe not next
Well,
week, but we're gonna
not
go.
next week.
So don't look
We're gonna
for
do this once a month.
yeah, once a month we'll do a top 10 in certain positions, basketball, football. So we already got this one out of the way for the month. So stay tuned.
Or do you want to do top 10 quarterbacks? You want to go there?
We'll figure it out. We're not going to talk about this here. So we'll figure it out.
Well, you know, like if we have people who want to participate, they can email us. And say,
We'll let them know the week before, but we're not doing it next week. We'll let them know the week before.
We're not going to do it next week.
So we'll let them know the week before when we're going to do it. So we'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out. And you know what I'm saying? We'll spice it up for you. You know what I'm saying? Because I definitely have my opinions about the quarterbacks, and we've gotten to arguments about this in the past. You know, we've gotten to really heated arguments about quarterbacks and about what they mean, and about just because a guy wears red and runs into the end zone one fucking time doesn't make him a great goddamn quarterback, but it doesn't make him a great runner either. We've gotten arguments about that in the past, but yeah, that should be a fun topic to discuss.
Yeah.
Running backs is a lot more cut and dry, to be honest with you.
I'm not sure about that either, to be honest.
Well, between us, I think that we both know who the best running back of all time is. But if you get somebody else in here, they might say something completely.
Roger Craig, right?
Okay.
Okay, my bad.
If you're gonna get somebody else in here, they're gonna say something stupid. They say something. They're gonna say a funny name. It's gonna have me say, hey, but this and this and that. This guy's offensive line. That guy's offensive line. You know, it's gonna come down to
there's definitely gonna be. There definitely will be some debate
between
there.
me and you. We both know who the best running back of all time is. All right,
Reggie Bush. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Maybe your thoughts will change.
We'll talk about that when the time comes. We're not gonna spill the beans now.
Yeah.
But I think that's basically it. He already gave out the email address. I want to give a quick thank you to Jason Green, one of my coworkers, who gave me the idea to do this podcast and this YouTube channel, and Ivy Jackson, Jason's cousin, who gave us the cover art for this. LJ's cousin. My apologies. I'll get used to that eventually. But thank you for both of y'all for being a part, for helping us make this happen. And we will catch y'all next week.
Peace.